Hello YouTubers, this is 95 Speed GTA and I found something really attractive at our car show. And this is the first car we're going to start off with. How you doing?
How you doing?
What kind of car we got here?
What we've got here is a 1915 Ford Model T. Most folks don't have a clear perception of just how old that is, so let me give you an idea. I'm not a young man, but when I was born, this car was already an antique. My dad, who lived to be 90, was born 7 years after this car was built. This car was built 7 years before anyone had ever heard of King Tut, because Howard Carter didn't discover his tomb until 1922. This was the cheapest car you could buy in 1915. It cost about $490, and Henry Ford between 1908 and 1927 built 15 million of these cars, more than any American car ever built in the history of the world. They built these in Canada, they built them in the United States, they built them in Europe. Over 15 million of these cars were built. Some experts say that there may be as many as 250,000 survivors worldwide. In the United States, there is reputed to be about 60,000 surviving Model T Fords. And I asked my insurance company how much they have in terms of these cars, and they have 5,000 Model T Fords, and that's just one insurance company.
Wow.
She's got about 20 horsepower, which was plenty for back then because American roads were terrible in 1915. And 35 miles an hour is about her most comfortable cruising speed. 4 cylinders, almost 3 liters, and 2-speed transmission that is a semi-automatic. It is the ancestor of the automatic transmission.
Where'd you buy the car from?
I bought this car from a collector restorer upstate in Albany. He happened to be the president of the Capital District Model T Club, and he had 7 or 8 of these cars. And he was selling his daily driver because he needed to make room for a new restoration. And he taught me how to drive it, and you drive it very differently than you would drive any other car. There's a spark advance, a high-low pedal, a reverse pedal, and it's just a very different car.
How many owners do you think this has had?
Oh, this car has probably had quite a few owners. And since it was built in 1915, which is exactly 50 years since the end of the Civil War, it's entirely possible that the first purchaser may have been a Civil War soldier under President Lincoln. He might have fought to free the slaves. This car is old.
I know, 1915, this is really cool, especially the braking.
They're a lot of fun on a beautiful day like today. It's good, clean, happy family fun. Good, clean fun doesn't come in much bigger slices than this.
I know. Could you tell me about the brakes?
Well, this is a Rocky Mountain brake. This is not original equipment. Originally, this car had a brake around a rotating transmission drum, and the braking action went down the drive shaft to the differential, to whichever wheel had the least traction, so braking action was awful. In 1923, 24, something like that, they came out with the Rocky Mountain brakes that you see here now, and they're a great big drum, and they are an external brake, meaning there's a band on the outside of the drum that contracts, and it stops the car pretty good at 30 miles an hour. You don't want to be stopping from too high a speed because no matter what kind of brakes you put on it, these tires are only about 3.5 inches wide, and you're not going to get very much traction even with disc brakes. So you have to plan ahead when you drive these cars. They are a bit of a challenge, but they are so darn much fun.
Now, these look like candlelit lamps. Is that true?
These are the original kerosene lamps.
Ah, kerosene.
Kerosene lanterns. And what I did was I electrified them. This is now a brake light, as you can see. Wow. And I added a couple of lights up here and on the other side, so I now have directional signals as well. You want to have lights. You want to drive them very carefully. You want to be safe. In a car like this that does not have seat belts, does not have airbags, doesn't even have windshield wipers or bumpers, you want to do everything you can to keep the car as safe as you can without changing its originality very much. So the lights, a new electrical system which the car did not originally have, is hidden. There is a belt-driven Delco alternator on this side of the engine, which is why we show the other side of the engine.
Right.
This was the first year that had electric headlights instead of acetylene headlights, and they ran off the engine's ignition system. Now they run off of the alternator and the battery, which is hidden under the back seat.
This is 12 volts to 6.
This is 12 volts, but it's 12 volts because we made it that way.
Right.
Originally, this car had no electrical system whatsoever.
Right. Wow. All right, well, thank you for your information. Thanks for watching so far.
It's a great day for it. Enjoy.
It is.
Bye-bye now.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Okay, you guys.